I move in, now move out, hands up, now hands down, back it up.
That's 100% going to be on the intro.
Okay.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the HARDCOURT podcast. This is a very special one because unlike the other ones, I have two guests this time.
It's a three-way.
I know, man. Don't tell nobody. I have the YouTuber Dill Plays, or also known as Dylan Sykes, and I also have the YouTuber Mark Sansait.
Also known as Mark Sansait. And as you guys know, I like to bring everybody's overlapping opinions other than just me as a coach. We have players, YouTubers, high school coaches, hitting partners. And for today, we get all those views at once. Special.
Let's go.
Special.
Yeah, no, man, this is gonna be a good one.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for extending the invite to Pennsylvania.
Absolutely.
Reading, Pennsylvania, spelled reading.
It is reading.
It's reading. It's Reading, Pennsylvania.
I remember asking you, and I'm like, is it Reading or reading?
Because when he texted us the tennis club, I think he actually typed Reading. And I looked it up, but there's no Reading, Pennsylvania when I typed it out. So it's Reading, Pennsylvania. An hour and change northwest of Philly. Yeah, hour and change northwest. It's actually a pretty pleasant drive. Yeah. How's your drive?
Not too bad. I was coming from Andorra, so just a little bit outside of Philadelphia. That's where my grandparents are. So I got to see them. They're old, but they're still moving, man.
Right.
Sharp as hell. So.
Really?
Are they playing pickleball?
Nah, they don't move like that. Moving as in they're getting up the stairs just fine, and they can live independently.
No blown out hips or anything like that. They make it up and down.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to talk to, obviously this is the HARDCOURT tennis podcast hosted by Iron Will. But I wanted to talk a little bit before we branch out into other topics about the match you guys just played. Different environment from the very first time you guys played outdoors in 98-degree heat. It was probably 105 to 110 on the court surface.
Yep.
Dill ended up squeaking it out 6-2, 7-5.
Yes.
Obviously, from what I saw and also from what I talked to Will about, Will wasn't in tennis physical and possibly not even tennis mental shape, being the sharpness specifically with his volleys coming in.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had a different problem to solve in this match against Iron Will?
Yeah,
than the
first time we played, you could tell his shoulder was bothering him.
Are you better now, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was definitely a big issue. I had played a match and tweaked my shoulder, but we had already scheduled to play, and I didn't want to.
I could tell it wasn't. I knew that he had some pop on the serve, and it just wasn't coming out in that first match, and so I was able to kind of take advantage of that. But also, playing at your own home court, or not home court, but like in your hometown, it's a little easier. So this time, coming to an away match, right? But dude, you were serving real well, and I think I was playing better than I was the first time we played too, and so were you. And so it's kind of, we both had to raise our levels, and that first set you gave it to me.
So the court that you guys played on outside the first time you guys played, is that one of your home courts that you guys play on?
Every now and then, in terms of scenery, it's a really nice private school. It was kind of in between where you were staying and where I was.
Yeah, it was convenient.
So it was probably the best of both worlds in terms of where we play. Where I play mostly is like clay courts, like I was saying, in Richmond, but we try to play on hard.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a good in between because I don't, like you've seen me here, I don't play outdoor very often because my primary job is teaching. So we have a 6-court indoor facility. We have clay courts outside, but those are usually being used for contracts and open court time.
Right.
So unless there's a reason for me to take my kids onto the clay courts, we're usually just inside.
Yeah.
Well, some of your kids, they sometimes play outdoor hard true clay court tournaments, right? And that's when you're like, okay, let's go outside.
Yeah,
that's when you make an extended effort. So.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, and usually in those cases, it's more of a hitting lesson. It's less feeding. I'll just take like 2 cans of balls and be like, all right, let's grind it out cross court.
How far away are the clay courts?
Right across the parking lot.
Oh, they're right there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go check them out. All right, cool.
Yep. So we, I definitely feel like the second match was more competitive. I could feel my ability to stay in the points longer.
Yeah. I tried to test you with some long rallies and see if you're gonna check out, but dude, you're right there. You're locked.
I saw the longer rallies more in the second set as a spectator. Is that by design, or
I was honestly testing, just seeing like, okay, let's see what he's got, and he stayed in them. Because a lot of times I'll throw those long rallies in there and to see if someone's going to check out, and if they are, then I'm like, all right, we're doing this, man. Like, he's going to check out, we'll do this.
So, spoiler alert, based on the pre-match interview that I did, that's going to be an intro of the video that I'm going to edit between the match that you guys just played, the second time that they played. Dill, you said that you're going to make an extended effort to attack his forehand. Yeah. Is that to open up the backhand, or is that to just kind of just wear him down?
Why didn't you tell me that before, dude?
You paid me enough money.
You could have whispered that on the changeover.
I remain a neutral party. So why
I think
is that?
I think what I meant to say was I was going to try to attack with my forehand.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But I actually did try to attack the deuce side a little bit more to try to get him moving a little bit more, because especially in that second set, I was really trying to get him to start moving more because he was staying in these rallies and he was playing well. So I was trying to make him just a little bit more uncomfortable, and so hit more backhand on lines, forehand cross courts, and really trying to not let him get comfortable, because I remember you kind of said that the last time. You're like, my movement, I didn't really have to move much last time I played, so I was trying to get you to move more, but my game is really just find that middle ball and go to the outside.
Yeah, and that was definitely the thing that kind of got me in trouble.
There you go. Good.
That was definitely a thing that kind of got me in trouble. The thing that I was really frustrated about the first time was I'm actually good at staying in points, but I felt so uncomfortable with my ability to stay in points that I kept trying to attack in the neutral rallies way before I would set them up when we played outside.
Right, it was so hot too. Yeah, it's like you want to finish those points quickly.
Exactly. Yeah. So like this time around, I was like, I feel comfortable. I'll throw 2 or 3 slices in. I'll come over a couple backhands, and I was comfortable staying in the point until I saw the shot. The problem in the first set, to be honest, I just felt like I was too excited to be on court with the people I like to play with.
Yeah, dude, you guys are fun.
So like I was like, gotta get my highlights in. Gotta go for this shot. Gotta make it look good. Yeah. I was just like, I was paying too much attention to what was going on outside, and then when I saw the score line, I was like, yeah, this isn't me. Like,
no, I knew it wasn't you too. I was like, he just gave me a set there,
dude. Especially when I double faulted 4 times.
Yeah,
and that was the one game where I felt my shoulder just a little bit, and I was like, no, don't even let that get in the back of your head. Your arm's fine. You've been training on it. Like, you feel it, but it's not going to be an issue. Yeah. But then like once we switched it to the second set, I was like, all right, new game, and I think I broke you like either not the first time or the second game, and I was like, this is more like what you want to play, like build the point, construct the point.
Yeah, it was just 1-2 serve and you broke me to go up 3-1.
Yeah, and that was definitely my game plan and my execution of the game plan. I just felt like there were and like I said in the post-match interview, I just felt like there were a couple of points where tennis is different, where like all points aren't equal. Like you need this point. Yes. This is the one you need, otherwise he's going to relax. This is the one you need, otherwise you're going to be at deuce. Like you need to put more pressure on certain ones, and those were the ones that you just managed to pull out at the right times. Right. And then we ended up with the scoreline we had.
I mean, they say all the guys top 50 in the world, everyone's got a forehand, everyone's got a backhand, serves, volleys, everyone's game's crystal top, but it's the guys who are going to play break points, right? It's the guys who are going to play
the biggest difference from the semi-pros and like these top Division 1 men's singles players, apparently the biggest difference between someone in the top, let's say 500, and the difference between someone that's in the top 50 are 2 things. Can you pull the trigger at the right time? Right. Like when you're down break point, or if it's 30 all, and you could possibly break. And number 2 is actually the second serve.
Ah, okay.
Right? Because the second serve you need to be able to place and hit with confidence and be somewhat aggressive with. And I know that Will has hit with professional tennis players. You had pro tennis players on your college teams sometimes. Have you hit with pro tennis players before?
Medina, yeah, he was number 370 in the world. Video. Yeah.
Was it just ground stroke points you hit with?
No, we played a set, and dude, he was just...
How was his second serve?
I mean, he's a lefty.
It's even worse.
Insane spin, and he wasn't even trying, dude. He wasn't even trying.
It was like, what, 50%?
Yeah, at most, bro. He came out in sweatpants. And
I saw that, and I was laughing. I was like,
was it gray sweatpants?
Yeah.
Oh, you know he fucks.
Nah, I saw that one. I was like, I wonder if his shoes are even laced up. Dude. Nah, was way too casual. He wasn't even
trying, and he hadn't played tennis in a year when he played me.
Oh, really?
Too. Yeah.
You took a set off him though, didn't you?
Nah, not even close.
I thought the second set you did. It was at least a lot closer.
Maybe. I can't really remember, but he's a professional pickleball player now.
That's not saying much.
he's talented. He's talented. Nice guy. But I think that, and I played some a guy from Penn State who was like 1,500 in the world.
Really?
Yeah, he told the crap out of me. And then I played some guys who used to play pro.
Older, mid-30s, mid-40s.
Yeah, mid-40s, and like that was a close one, like 7'6". Like
really,
just clean. He just played a lot of tennis.
But isn't that one of those things where, like, you know, as someone that's a quote-unquote amateur tennis player, similar to me, that you could take those guys, given certain conditions,
right,
to their current limit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and it's just, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to like their mentality. Like they're so comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
And so it's, you can tell that like as soon as like they have a break point, they're like, let's go. Yeah. Like they're happy to be down 30-40. Yeah. They're like, this kid has no idea.
I played a tournament probably 6 months ago at this point, and
tournament.
It was and I got the 1 seed first round. 13 UTR.
Top.
Yeah, but like I wasn't worried because I was like, I'm not going to play anybody that's going to hit a ball I haven't seen before.
Right. Yeah.
But my mentality going into the match, and it was 100% exactly what happened, was I'm not worried about being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about my inability to make them uncomfortable.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they're going to hit huge serves.
Right.
I've seen those.
Right.
They're going to hit heavy inside-out forehands. I've seen those.
Right.
How much do I have to do to make them sweat at all?
Right.
And that's where the biggest difference is. Like, they're making me sweat playing 70%, and I'm making them sweat play 90%. I can't maintain that.
Yeah, I feel that. And anytime I play a guy like that, the only thing going through my head is like, you can't slow down your hands. Every single ball you have to commit to.
Acceleration is safety.
You have to commit to every ball. There's no, this backhand, I'll just loop in. Like, you got to commit to every single ball. And I ended up playing better because, you know, there's a mentality there where you're like, I'm not supposed to win this match. So, like, let's swing. Yeah. They're not flat, not like checking out or anything. Just like, let's commit. Let's commit.
Yeah, that was definitely my biggest takeaway when I played against top level players. It was
13 UTR. That's definitely semi-pro at that point, right? As a male, anything above 12.5 UTR in singles, you're
they're probably playing
there.
challengers and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I lost 1-1. The match was 2.5 hours.
How many deuces?
Way too many. You know what pissed me off? I had people there watching. They were like, "Yo, this dude cheats like so much," and I was like, well, "You don't even have to cheat. You're freaking 13 point something."
The guy was hooking.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Why?
The UTR, man.
I'm just like, why are you cheating? Like I like ripped probably like 6 or 7 winners on him, and he only gave me like 2 of them, and I'm just like.
And you're sure that it hit like the inside of the line?
Yeah. Like my wife was there, my college teammate was there.
Call the umpire.
I did at one point, but it was just like it was one of those roving umpires. I'm like, dude.
Oh, okay. And
but the other
he's
thing
like
was
geriatric. He just couldn't.
But
see.
It was also. We were playing at the academy where that guy plays, so I'm pretty sure
it was bias.
I'm pretty sure it was because he didn't want to look bad in front of the other players. Because I cooked him the game that I held in the first set, and I think it got under his skin a little bit.
Yeah. Piss off those guys. They play better.
Yeah,
they play better. It's chronic. It's wild.
Yeah, it was so frustrating.
Can we take a left turn on this podcast? I want to talk about cheaters.
Yes.
So my I don't know if you consider this a toxic trait as a kind of a tennis coach, which I'm really not if you think about it. But every time my kids come up to me after they play like a tournament, they say, "Oh, I lost in the quarterfinals, but the guy was cheating." And I have several instances where my opponent was cheating. I always tell them, if you hook someone that hooks you and you have more than enough evidence for it, that's not cheating. That's getting even, if not maybe even getting ahead. I want to know your guys' thoughts about that. As a tennis player and as a tennis coach.
Interesting. Now, I have a story.
Sure, go ahead. Story time.
My college coach told me a story and actually saw him do it once as well. We were playing a tournament and the guy was hooking bad.
And like more than enough evidence of like more than enough instances.
What happened was the guy hits a serve, my coach just calls it out. It bounces like literally 3 feet from every line in. He's like out and literally held it and stared at him. He's like, second serve. And they're like, what? He's like, nope, out, second serve. Out. My point. Like he clearly blatantly hooked him twice. He gave him 2 double faults and it was like, we can do this. Like he said out, he was like, we can do this all day or we can just play. Like it's
I think that's not cheating, though. I think that's sending a message and getting even, if not maybe even getting ahead.
I was all for that one because it was obvious why he was doing it.
Okay.
like if you're gonna hook me, I believe like hook them to let them know that it was that bad.
Yeah.
Like if you're cheating me and it's like on the line and you were on the move and it's a little iffy. But like we've all seen when somebody hooks and it's like this far inside of all the lines. There's no question. You just couldn't get it in. You're mad you couldn't get it.
Yeah.
When you start doing that, I've seen, like I said, my coach did it. He like literally he waited for the best opportunity. He was like, there's no way this is out. This is the ball I'm calling out. So you can know that I'm calling a not close ball out. Okay. And to be honest, they had no more issues after those 4 calls.
It worked. Mm-hmm. It worked.
I don't know, I got a different approach. I'll never hook somebody on purpose.
Well, what's the definition of hook?
Like I said, that hook, I was like, it was a hook for a message. It wasn't a hook that could have been like competitive and you just needed the point. It was like, I'm calling this so you stop cheating.
By the way, I'm not going to hook you.
No, I don't think you will. My thing is like, it's if someone's even going to do that, first I'm going to start talking to them and like have a conversation with them about something completely different. And they end up starting to like you as a person, and they'll stop. Or if it's that bad, you just call the umpire over and get them to fix it.
But sometimes umpires aren't a thing for something like state league.
And that's tennis. And you got to be able to deal with that. Because you're going to see that, especially in juniors, you're going to see that. And I'm never going to hook somebody back, but my ball should honestly never be that close to the line.
Mm-hmm. But there are times where, I mean, obviously you guys made fair calls in your tennis match.
Right.
Some of your balls, especially the faster ones, serves, slapper down the lines, they were close, whether it's unintentional or not.
Mm-hmm. And I give people the benefit of the doubt on those ones. Like what I was saying was like, it's obvious that you're just trying to call these balls out too. Yeah. And I think what the UTR has done is kind of like made people do it more often because they're worried about protecting their UTR. Like I can't lose this match, or I can't have a score this close, or I'm supposed to win by this many points. And then it's like, this is way closer than it's supposed to be.
Yeah. The biggest issue I have with UTR, and UTR is way above NTRP in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not saying you're in that umbrella.
No.
I'm not saying
I agree.
I think there should be 2 UTR ratings for singles, right? UTR for the score and the result, and then a UTR just for the result.
Okay.
Because I think, in my opinion, a win is a win, no matter how close it is. But I could see why, if there's a 6-0, 6-0 win, that is more of a testament to you as a stronger tennis player than a 3-setter.
Right.
But I still think a win is a win, and especially when it comes to tournaments.
Yeah, I do like the fact that like even if you lose, like, and if you lose close, against like say I'm like a 10-7 right now, I play an 11-5, I lose like 5-5.
What a flex that is, right?
That'll help my UTR go up because I played someone above me that's close, and so I do like that factor that it encourages people to never give up.
Correct.
Yeah. Like you always can help your UTR in that way.
But I think in terms of the score counting, and guys feel free to disagree with me on this point. Even if you lose, but if you could get enough games against someone that is stronger than you in the UTR sphere, that it benefits big servers. Mm-hmm. Because they can just hold one or two games.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. I've played like I was telling you about Nolan, the guy that I always lose to him like 6-4, 7-5, something like that. The best I can hope for is to get to a tiebreak because it's damn near impossible to break his serve. Mm-hmm. And because of that, like his UTR rating would definitely be higher because he doesn't care about breaking. He'll break you at some point just by connecting with 1 or 2 balls. Right. But if he doesn't, all of it, like I could easily see his UTR being a 12. 13, just because wins, losses, all 7-6, and if he's playing somebody that's a 10 and 11 and it's always like 7-6, there's no way his rating wouldn't be ridiculously high.
This is a gentleman that just swings for it, like 3-ball rallies.
It's so like I think he'll be here tomorrow.
Okay.
I'd like to see you guys like play a tiebreak against him, just because.
See. I've got to fight.
But no, it's
get some water. You guys keep going.
Yeah,
I'm feeling a little dizzy.
Yeah,
it's still dizzy. You need a beer?
No, I'm right back.
All right.
Keep going.
But no, it's like it's so ridiculous when you play somebody like that can literally take the racket out of your hand, where ratings and skills just don't matter.
But do you think that this individual, this gentleman, is an anomaly? Like, it's very rare to see someone like that play singles.
That level of that combination of skills, yes, 100%. But playing somebody that just think Ben Shelton with no skills. I'm not even just using him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just like, there's a bunch of people that are just tall and can bomb serves, and they can't do anything else.
To a lesser extent, and this is not a detriment to this individual I'm about to say who's on the Pro ATP Tour, her catch is kind of this, but he's a little bit more well-rounded.
He's become more well-rounded.
He's more well-rounded than Ben Shelton, but he's not a lefty, but he's just a 6'6" Polish guy that can serve bombs and wants to go in.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. He's recently tried to adopt more of the ground game, but
it's hard being that tall.
It's hard. It's 100% hard. Like, he literally moves like an NBA center. He's one of those lanky type of movers. But when you think about just take somebody like that, put them in your normal USTA league, even if it's a 5-0 league, they don't have to have massive ground strokes. You're playing a tiebreak at best.
Yeah. You just hold, and then that's it.
Yeah, you're playing a tiebreak at best, and those type of people, those are the ones that are frustrating when you see them have this massively high UTR rating. Yeah. And you're like, I play them, and I'm just like, dude, it's nothing but serves. Like, I'm holding serve easy, but I just can't freaking break this serve.
Well, it's one of those things too, where the play style, and Dill, welcome back. It's one of those things where play style comes into play, because Dill and I are more rhythm players than someone like you or this gentleman that you're talking about.
Right.
And I would prefer, and obviously this is no offense to you, I prefer playing someone like Dill versus someone like you, because I could get a rhythm with him.
Mm-hmm. It's very hard. I gotta feel good.
So, I'm excited for our match tomorrow. And,
Me too, dude.
It's gonna be, and we'll see how many beers I can slam tonight to fall asleep.
That forehand gonna be loose.
Very loose, just all Conti all day.
Fun fact, guys, I'm sober right now, sober October. So this is the most locked in I've been in a long time. So I'm excited, Mark.
I play better hungover.
I know you do.
I'm on day 1000 if not sober October. Watch out! I put in my liver to work. But when it comes to play styles, let's say, because we all have pretty different play styles. Obviously, me and Dill have slightly more similar play styles than either of us have to you, mainly because of the physicality and mainly of how we work around our strengths. And I would say that our strengths for me and Dill, our top two strengths, has to be footwork and defense at this point, right?
For sure, 100%.
And then for someone
plenty of time, I thought the point was over.
My ass was running my back, bro. Every ball.
Plenty of times I thought the point was over.
And Iron and Will has the more classic game of big serve, big forehand, and Jesus Christ, this guy can move.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. That one ball, I thought for sure I had you. I'm like, what can you do?
You didn't hear me because you were so locked in. You turned around. I was like, he tried that last time and it didn't work either.
I didn't hear it at all.
Yeah, because when we played the last match, you tried that drop shot and I ran it down and hit the angle.
That's right.
So I was like, he keeps trying it. It's not happening. It's not bouncing twice.
That one point though, where you hit a high forehand off of his overhead and he hit drop shot winner. That's the only time.
I was so mad.
It's the only time I've seen someone hit a drop shot winner off you. Because your lanky ass legs always.
Dude, I was so mad because I actually pride myself on getting to balls.
Yeah.
I'm a good lateral mover, but I'm very explosive forward.
Yeah. No, dude, you're moving quick. And then that last one, I was like, please. Oh, thank God. All right.
It was a half volley too.
Yeah. It was a little touch over the net. It was a little lucky. Yeah. I was moving backwards.
If you were a little bit shorter, you would have taken that as an overhead, not a high forehand.
Yeah, dude. I was hoping to make that shot because I was like, in each match we got one.
That's right. We got a couple highlight reels though.
No, definitely.
That's for sure.
Definitely.
So when it comes to play styles, assuming that I beat Dill in this whole triangle of this tennis round robin, I beat Dill.
Dill beats me.
Dill beats you, and then you beat me. Who theoretically would be the better player?
That's a crapshoot.
Right. Yeah. But that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
About tennis.
That's why you play, because what's on paper, he should beat both of us
based on UTR.
But again, that's why I never pay attention to UTR ratings, because when I go play a tournament, I play 2 or 3 tournaments a year maybe. So I always show up with my points probably 2 or 3 lower just because I'm not playing. It always drops. So people
the injuries too.
And people always think they're going to walk over me, and I'm just like.
They underestimate.
Do you feel good when you beat someone that has that cockiness, that chip on his shoulder?
It feels so good.
I love when people underestimate me, man, because I come on the court and they're like, oh, this guy's small, he's short. Next thing you know,
those calves,
roll up the
The quads start popping out.
flex the quads and be like, I'm here all day.
Done.
I'm here, and dude, the best thing, my favorite thing about my game is I just feel like I have an unbelievable heart. Like, I'm just never, ever, ever gonna quit. And so,
Yeah,
like, I
I
love
can
to
agree with that.
impose that on people. Be like, just because you're winning right now, I'm not going anywhere.
I completely agree with that.
Speaking of winning, okay, in terms of singles as a non-college player, so 22 or older, what was your biggest singles win? And who was it against? At least give us a description. Oh, I guess I had to think about this.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
All right.
Like on a UTR, like certified match.
No. Just a serious singles tennis match.
Oh, dude, last Tuesday I beat a guy who
Really?
plays 2 doubles for VCU and got him in the third set.
VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University,
Yeah.
D1.
Yeah, D1 guy. He's
2 doubles.
yeah, he plays 2 doubles, and he took the first set 6-2. Took the second set 6-4. Got him 10-6 in the third.
Nice.
Was the 6-2 kind of like what it should have been in both sets?
I was behind on the ball because he hits the absolute piss out of the ball.
Full Western,
No, just really, really flat. Just
but
like,
just went through it.
yeah, and his serve's like 130, like at least, maybe even more. Like,
Jesus.
he's
Hate those
super freaking talented, and so and the courts were super fast, and so in the second set I really found my shortened swing and was just like,
You didn't
have
back
to
up. You didn't
attack.
back up.
No, not at all.
You just
Have to
You
attack.
had to have the short hand that just
Yeah,
extended
and so
out.
I switched to a tighter racket and was able to just like be like, as soon as you see a ball that you're gonna attack on, you have to, because there's
very few chances.
Yeah,
That's
there's
gonna
no
happen.
waiting on this guy. There's no like, I'm just gonna wait, not this one, not this one. And so I was able to pull that one out. That felt good. That felt real good.
So, what were you feeling in the 10-point tiebreak? Let's assume that you won. Is it 6-4 in the second
6-4
set?
in the second.
That like you did exactly what you needed to do.
Yeah.
Right. Because a 6-4 victory against that type of guy. Holy shit, good for you.
Yeah, no, it
So
felt
what were
good.
you feeling in the 10-point tiebreak?
Gotta serve well, and you gotta attack right away.
How many minute breaks did you have against you? It has to be less than 2.
You know what? I was doing a lot serving and volleying.
Really?
Yeah,
Was he just bumping everything?
No, my kick out wide was insane that day, and so
Really?
I was able to.
Yeah, he does that sometimes.
Yeah, the kick out wide,
that
and then
serve
you're
attack.
reaching, and then you float it, but you passed me a couple times
Yeah.
too, man. So I stopped doing it.
Yeah. You pulled it out when you really needed it. That's what pissed me off.
That's
'cause,
my best serve on the
I
outside.
wasn't looking for it. I was like, I stopped them from doing it. Now I just need to control the body in the middle.
Yeah.
And then like randomly, I was just like, no, not
I've
now.
incorporated that in my game the past like 2-3 months, the serve and volley, and I think it's really effective on the big kicks out wide, because like a lot of times the only thing people can do is pop it up, and then you're just boom right there.
And typically, if it's a good kick serve out wide to a righty on the ad side, it's a high forehand volley for you as a righty.
Right.
Yeah. And right to the open court, nice and short.
And when I beat that guy, I was volleying out of my mind too. So
Was he
like,
pist?
no, he's a really nice guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's always fun. That's
yeah,
always
dude.
fun.
I'm
very opposite. We'll talk about that.
I'm very particular about who I play tennis with, man.
Really?
Like,
Thank you.
Yeah, I like playing with people that are like people I enjoy being on the court with, because like tennis for me is like my sacred moment after work.
Oh,
And
but it
like,
is.
because it's not
Yeah,
my
you play by
job.
choice, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not gonna go out there and go play with some guy who's just like a tool, even though he might be like a really nice, like a really good tennis player, might help me out. I just
You know you're playing me tomorrow, right?
yeah, but you.
But the thing, you do it on purpose.
Yes, I know it's completely different.
Like, that's not who you
Yeah.
are. You're doing it to be that
People
guy.
see you in my comments like, God, Mark probably is the biggest asshole I've ever met. I'm like, no, he's actually a nice guy.
You're a nice guy who's literally trolling on purpose.
So you just gotta, I know that, so it's just like, it's funny.
We're laughing when you have the outburst because we know it's like semi-serious.
Yes, it is. I mean, especially when I said I'm going to break this racket in half and shove it up my ass. I
He
think
said that. Yes, he said
his
that.
wife was laughing her ass off. when I said that.
No, she told me she was. She was like.
Yeah.
Then she realized you weren't serious, and then she laughed.
You watch some of his points on Instagram, and he's like, let's go, come on, after someone double taps me, I'm dying in my bed, double tap, troll him right back.
So VCU number 2 doubles.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
that was a
right.
good win, that was a good win.
What about you?
You know what the funny thing is? It was the match I played against you.
Really? Okay.
Here's why.
Not UTR, because I know your UTR is not what it should be because of the injuries you've had. And you did play well yesterday.
The
Good for you.
thing that frustrates me because of my not being match sharp is I always have these epic losses. I never had like if I had turned it around and won against Dylan, that would have probably been like the hypest moment because I flipped it around. I'm always mentally sharp, and it like most of my matches are like when we played him. It's like either a close or a wash in the first set, and then I figure everything out, and I always flip it to a tiebreak, or it's like a close second set, and I'm always end up on the losing side of that thing. That's actually part of why my UTR is low. All right, so I have a question for both of you.
Okay.
Popular, unpopular opinion, ATP.
Who? Men's or just men's, right?
Either.
ATP? Oh, men's or WT? ATP or WT?
Popular, unpopular opinion.
Okay. Can I go first?
Sure.
Okay. The greatest tennis player of all time for men's, and I am not a fan of him at all for more than one reason, but the greatest tennis player of all time, as of the recording and definitely publishing of this video, is Novak Djokovic.
Yes.
Because I like Federer's game style better. I like Nadal's relative humbleness, and humbleness 99% of the time, except for that Tsonga thing we were talking about.
Yes.
I like Nadal's work ethic better, but when it comes to objective measurements, anything that you could measure, the only thing you could hold a candle to of being the greatest male tennis player of all time is how many singles Grand Slams you have.
Okay.
And that is Djokovic.
Yeah, okay.
Even though I'm not a fan of him.
I'm not a fan either.
But I do give him respect in many ways.
Oh, absolutely. You can't argue with results.
But it's all about numbers. Just like the greatest NBA player of all time is not LeBron, it's not Jordan, it's Bill Russell.
Yes, easily.
Yeah.
Now, can I comment on
Sure,
that?
go ahead.
Now, I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
But here's
But
the
you
thing.
don't agree with it.
No, let me get there. Okay. So not too long ago, they all had the exact same number, and there was still that argument.
Sure.
Right? And I still erred on the side of Novak, even when they had an even number.
Sure.
Here's why I had like a circular argument though, because each one of them did something or more things that nobody else had done.
Okay.
So Rafa was and is the only player to be that dominant on one major. If he wasn't that dominant on one, he would not be in the conversation.
Sure. I would also say that Rafa is the greatest clay courter of all time.
Easily. I can agree with that.
But not the greatest of all time.
No.
Because you got to be a master of all surfaces.
Right. So like I said, when you look at it, you can give each of them a title. You can say Rafa's the greatest clay courter of all time, but because of him being so dominant on clay, the only person to ever do something with that streak, and I don't think anybody will ever come close to that. That's why he was in the argument, because he was the only player to do something.
Sure.
Fed, when he had the same number, he was the only player to be relevant for so long.
2004.
He played. You gotta remember, he played Sampras era, Leighton Hewitt era. He outlasted and stayed relevant through everybody's era and retirements to get to his 20. And then Novak was a sprinter. Novak was behind all of them, and then he did it in the shortest amount of time. There's a running joke that people keep saying when it comes to Novak, and also when it was only Fed and Rafa. They kept saying that the greatest player of all time, when they said it was originally, they said it was Fed. They said the greatest player of all time can never seem to beat the greatest player of their time. So Rafa always had Fed's number, and then it became a Rafa Novak thing when people were saying which one of those two was good, and Novak wasn't really at the count yet. Novak kept still taking those two out pretty consistently.
Back in 2012, when Federer was just on he was just riding that train.
Yes.
Rafa still had an overwhelmingly winning record against Federer at that time. But I'm a huge Federer fan. Like that is my favorite tennis player of all time, besides Safin and Fabrice Santoro. You need to overcome your adversary, no matter what era you're in.
Yeah. And that's the line that I keep telling people.
Yeah.
Like it's always like whoever the greatest is, there's always one person that seems to have their number. That always seems to take that one chink out of the armor that makes that person immortal.
But if we were to go down that path of like, can you beat the greatest player of all time? And if so, you are the greatest player of all time, which is a false.
Oh yeah.
False.
Especially with tennis.
Exactly. Yeah. Then Herbati, who is 2-0 against Dominic Herbati.
I don't even know who that is.
Yes. Well, exactly. he's 2-0. He's 2-0 against Nadal. He's beaten Nadal every single time.
That's wild. Okay.
So you're the greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time.
Or sorry, your popular.
Popular
opinion.
Was that your popular opinion?
Oh, no. I was just
Okay,
responding to yours. I'm going to let him give his first.
Tennis players need to be making more money. The fact that Alcaraz went on a run last year, made $10 million in prize money. If you equate him to any other sport, he's maybe the top 300 player on the team. So like
Correct.
the whole NBA making $10 million a year, probably 300 down.
But that's different because that is a team sport versus an individual sport.
Right. And so but then we got to go all the way down to maybe 1,500 in the world. I know they're trying to make some changes now.
They're trying to, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that's good, but it is so hard. It is so hard for these players to make any kind of living at all.
I think that the whole system needs to be completely redone because you need to think about the fact that you have a professional athlete who's dedicated their life to being a professional athlete that makes the cut and becomes a professional athlete.
Right.
And there are Dunkin' Donuts managers making more money than these people.
Yes.
And again, I'm actually along the mentality of I think professional athletes don't need to make as much money because there are way more important jobs that people are getting like drastically undercut.
So you're talking about entertainment versus functionality.
Right. So, teachers, firemen, police officers, things that are like legitimately needed versus entertainment. But once we completely get rid of that thing, whatever the standard is that professional athletes should make,
Right.
you have to make sure that that's like the minimum that people can accomplish once they're in that field.
Right.
And with tennis, with golf, with boxing, it's you get paid to win or you get paid based off of who wants to come see you.
Right.
And the problem with that is if you go onto any stage and say somebody inside the top, just outside the top 100, nobody knows their name.
Yeah.
Anna Georgie. Anna Kournikova.
But those are people that have branched out of tennis.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? They relied on something outside of tennis.
Looks.
Yeah, facts.
But that's what I'm saying. So you take somebody who's top 1,500 in the world. You got to remember that's the 1,500th best person at something.
Yes.
How many doctors, how many lawyers are there, how many police officers are there that are the 1,500 best at something that are making way more
a lot
than that.
But they also, let's see.
It's like basketball, soccer, baseball. Like you have a team paying for all your travel. Tennis, you don't.
But the thing is, I feel like the ATP, WTA, or whatever the governing bodies are, need to have a sit-down, roundtable discussion and go, there needs to be a professional players union or a professional players contract where per year you're guaranteed, even if it's $30,000 if you're between these two rankings, $50,000 if you're between these two rankings. So you still have to work your way up, but you don't have to pay to try to make it on something when you're already a professional player.
So this is the difficult thing, and this is where I actually applaud Novak Djokovic. He's trying to change things.
He is.
Whether or not he's doing it the right way, he's trying to change things, and he doesn't need to because he's the greatest player of all time when it comes to any objective measurement.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to, but he's looking out for the smaller guy. Right. So the issue is, right, if you think about 95% of the team sports, they are based in North America.
Yes. Everybody wants to get here.
NHL, NBA, MLB, which is like
Ridiculous.
it's like okay, you throw a ball, but I'm not making that argument.
But that's actually the biggest argument: is how much more difficult is it to make it as a tennis player, boxer, golfer?
Significantly.
Yeah. And baseball, perfect example. Sometimes you might not do anything for the whole damn game.
Correct. My dream job is to be a field goal kicker for the NFL.
Dude,
I just do back squats all day. Ooh, perfect. I'm already there.
but that's the thing.
$500,000
Yeah.
to not get tackled.
For how difficult it is to be a professional tennis player, for there to be professional baseball players, professional football players that ride the bench, Like literally, you get paid to be on the practice squad for NFL.
I think is it $300,000 in the NFL if you're on the team?
Yeah, it's 250, 300
minimum.
Yeah.
And then I think because there was a documentary, I think like when this guy made the practice team, he was still bringing in like I think like 10,000 a week or 10,000 a month. Like you can still live at least.
Yeah. 10,000 a week, you can live.
That's not bad.
Right, you can live.
It's not bad. But I personally think it's also, and obviously we're talking about the world, but I'm breaking it down into, let's say 90% of these team sports that we're talking about is in the North Americas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
NHL, MLB, NBA, NFL.
Yeah.
Obviously football, aka soccer, for those of you guys who don't speak in freedom units. Football, aka soccer.
That's the best description. I was trying to hold a straight face. Oh,
soccer is probably the biggest outlier. And soccer, ironically enough, is the biggest, most popular sport in the world.
And it's growing.
More popular than pickleball.
It's growing.
Yeah, it is growing.
Yeah, with Messi coming over here and everything.
But Messi's on a downturn.
Yeah, that's why I came over here.
the point I want to make is, and before we run out of time because we want to grab Philly cheesesteaks because we're in Pennsylvania.
We are in Pennsylvania.
Is that tennis is a much harder sport and a very much more solitary sport than most people realize because you cannot just pass your football to an all-star running back. You cannot just pass the basketball to Steph Curry or,
My friends who don't play tennis, they don't understand. They don't respect it as much as they should. But then my buddies, like my buddy Braun, who has come with me to all these events. Yeah, Braun is massive. Shout out Braun Oden, O10 Productions.
Yeah, definitely.
But he is like he's getting it now. He's like, I understand what you have to deal with during a match, the ebbs and flows.
It's all you.
It's all you. Yeah, people don't understand that. Golfers get it.
I would say golf is not a sport.
I say golf is not a sport.
It's
Sorry.
a hobby. It's like bowling.
It's a very difficult hobby.
No, I say it's a sport. I play.
I
play
I play it, but because I play it, I'll be the first person to say.
I think anything you gotta
competition.
Yeah,
Healthy competition.
Yeah.
I think chess is more of a sport than golf.
I've been playing a lot of chess.
Agreed.
But because what your opponent does has a very, very significant impact of what you need to choose to do next.
That is literally my definition of why it's not a sport. You don't even have to be there on the same day.
Correct.
But if you know
sport,
that he shot a 63 and you're 4 shots off of that, you know you might have to actually go for the green as opposed to laying out.
Sure,
there's tactic to it, but I feel like it takes away from the idea of sport when you do not have a direct impact. Like basketball, offense, defense. Football, offense, defense. Tennis, offense, defense.
Swimming.
Immediate changes.
Swimming?
Swimming's a sport.
Ooh.
But see, like,
I respect the fuck out of swimmers.
Even swimming, like you can, like, there's little idiosyncrasies that you can do when you're when you're swimming against somebody, when you're looking at each other during certain stuff. Like even the little idea of like trying to inch across somebody or seeing them slowing down and saving their energy for a certain point. There's give and take to swimming.
Track
is the same way. Depending on what you're running, there's timing and there's adjustments to their timing. This person might be trying to run full speed, or this person might be trying to pace themselves until the last lap, and it directly affects how you may want to approach stuff.
I think anytime someone's putting a lot of their physical body on the line and trying to get better and grinding at something that's physical, I think it's a sport.
Anything
even powerlifting?
Yeah.
You think that's a sport?
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm probably gonna get a bunch of roid heads after me at this point.
I respect you. I'm small, you're massive. Please don't hurt me.
And it's fine to disagree. Like I'm not attacking. I'm just giving you my point of view.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the thing with the way they're paid. It just has to be even. There has to be better. Like if you're a professional athlete, there has to be a standard for professional athletes. One of the things that annoys me, going off of the idea of like tennis being disrespected, I, as a professional tennis coach, hate when people come to me to get ready for anything. Like that tells me that you already weren't respecting the difficulty of it.
Right.
I can't stand when like high school students are like, "Well, challenge matches are in 2 weeks. I wanted to get ready for challenge matches. I haven't played all year." I'm like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think that's something that only happens with our sport. Like, have you ever, like, as a high school tennis player, I've seen people get cut from other sports, need a sport, and go try out for the tennis team.
They think, I've had people try to get their varsity letter on tennis team.
I've never seen somebody who's never shot before try out for the basketball team, try out for the football team, try out for the soccer team. They'll try out for the tennis team.
That's a cultural thing.
They think it's easy. But again, it's because most people don't know what good tennis is. They've seen their uncle or aunt or their mom with their contract poking the ball around. They don't know what a good tennis player is until they see one, and then they're like, oh, there's a big difference. But if you never see that difference, you think you're as good as everybody else.
Right. Honestly, I think if you can become, as an adult, let's say a 4-0 tennis player that can hit topspin, you could play in singles. You could play almost any sport in the U.S.
Interesting.
Basketball.
Yeah, it's transferred over to a lot of different things.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Mine, before we go, my popular, unpopular opinion is... when you look at the best players of all time...
Tennis or...
Tennis.
Okay.
Tennis. When you look at the best players of all time versus the most talented players of all time...
Oh, huge difference.
Huge difference.
Federer might be the only one that fits into both molds for men.
I would not look at Novak. I would not look at Rafa. Even though they work their asses off. There are...
Kyrgios,
Monfils.
Big brain.
There are a couple of players that... And I to be honest... given enough time, I think Ben might be one of them.
Dude, we'll see. The truth. I think he's
very talented.
He sprays like crazy.
He's very talented, but again, like
he's big and lefty, so that's
take somebody like Kyrgios or take somebody like Monfils, who are arguably two of the most talented people on tour, different generations, but two of the most talented people on the tour. They should have or could have done so much more if they had the comparable mental state to the big three or big four, or whoever those people were. Because Nick Kyrgios, for example, he has said many a time during a tournament, like, I can't believe I stayed up all night playing FIFA before this match.
Yeah. But that's what makes it.
You know what I like about that? Because people always try to compare all these people to like Novak, Rafa, and Federer. Those guys are such massive outliers in terms of just a human being, mental state, physical state, talent there as well. And all these other guys are normal. Like Kyrgios, I can relate to that. I can relate to
FIFA.
Ben. I can relate to Ben spraying balls at 20 because he's 20 years old.
Yeah.
I get that. That makes sense. You'll grow up. Your brain will get better. We're trying to compare them to Rafa, Federer, and Novak, and like it's just those guys are just unreal.
I think we're blessed enough to have three of the best to ever do it in the same generation. Because think about it.
I don't think anybody's going to break that
if
mold.
Fed was here without Rafa, what would the number be? Or Novak was here without the
30, 25.
Yeah,
dude, I think it'd be in the 40s.
Yeah,
really?
I think it'd be if it was just one of them. Because
just one.
If it was just one
they
of them.
have to play each other in finals.
Who do you have? Roddick, Hewitt.
Yeah, like who's stopping them?
Yeah,
but kind of going off of that because you said something that I kind of wanted to touch on. Those three being the outliers, do you think, because I've had this argument with a couple of people, because this is, like I was getting to it, this is actually my unpopular opinion, is the female tennis game and the male tennis game, obviously we know that they're completely different.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. If you think they're the same, you're a fool. I'm sorry.
But here's my problem. Because we were kind of tying it all together. I think that the majors for the women are bullshit. And here's why.
Okay.
Here's why.
Want to hear this?
Ladies, love you. So I'm not attacking anybody. But I don't say they need to play best of 5. They need to play something different.
Yeah.
Why?
It can't be the same.
Because that's the same as a tournament you played a week ago. The reason why Novak, the reason why Novak, Rafa, and Fed are so dominant is because you have to change your entire game when it comes to a major. You have to have a different level of mental preparedness for physicality.
Yeah, you have to play 7 matches to win a major, a 5-set best.
And there are some people that had to play like 4 or 5 5-setters to win that major. But with the ladies, even if it is a longer event,
it's still the same.
It's the same format. If I was talking to one of my friends and I said, pick a major. Where's my phone? Pick a major. Don't worry about it. Pick a major and look at the list of players that have won it for the women. Aside from a few outliers, it's every freaking person. And it's one major, and then you never hear from him again. Emma Raducanu won, and then could not do anything.
Who had a Cinderella run because she went through qualies.
She did, her and Layla.
Yeah.
But I said it. I said she's going to have a great second year because she's going to be allowed to go into everything, and she's going to be like a mainstay name.
And
then she's going to tank. But it's like that with all of them because there is no change in the format. Serena Williams was
an outlier.
She was an outlier.
Sharapova to an extent.
Right. But the thing is, because there's even if, like, let's say for example, you made the ladies play no ad. That is a change to the format, which requires you to play a different type of game.
Sure.
If you play best 3 out of 5, but instead of a 5th set, you play a 10-point tiebreak. You have to do something different to make the major special.
Yeah.
To make the major a different requirement. That's why there are so many female one-time major holders, and there's not.
Because they got hot.
There's exactly had a hot week.
Not because they're hot, but because they're hot.
But they had a hot.
Shout out Camila Giorgi.
But they had a hot week, and then they ran through everybody. And most of the time, the reason why it's a one-time thing is because nobody has done any type of film reconnaissance on that person. Because you haven't seen them before.
Yeah.
It's some random number 30, 40, 50 in the world that runs through everybody. It's not the Sabalenkas and it's not the Coco Gauffs. It's Rybakina or Sophia Kenin who just has
I forgot Kenin won one.
But that's what I'm saying. Aside from the few people that, like, probably 8 to 10 years ago when you had Lee Na, Kim Kleister, Maria Azarenka, they were all like the top 5 and they were passing majors around and they had multiple majors. Everybody else was a one-time and done. And I'm not saying it's because the women and men don't compete just as hard. What I'm saying is because there's no difference in the format, that's why you have the big 3 versus you have everybody. Because to close it out, a couple of years ago, Dominic Thiem played Novak. And
what tournament was this?
Australian Open. Muguruza played somebody. I can't remember who she played. I think it might have been Sophia Kenin. Dominic Thiem lost the first set, won the next 2. And I think whoever beat Muguruza in the final lost the first set, won the next 2. She's a major champion. Novak turned that around and won the final 2 sets, and now he's a major champion.
There's a physicality behind it.
It's a different type of ask. And because you have this same format that they do week in and week out and week in and week out, there's nothing different when the ladies go to the major, so anybody can take it. Whereas when you go to the major, think about going to play Rafa on clay, and you lost 1 set. Forget.
Good luck. Yeah.
You lost 1 set. Now you got to try and squeak
mountain to climb.
3. It's huge.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so my popular, unpopular opinion is that whatever you do, the ladies have to play some different format at the major. Otherwise, the majors to me just don't count because they're the exact same thing that you did a week ago.
So you just think it's an elongated Masters 1000?
Exactly. Because you have a lot of good players that show up, obviously, but
100%.
You have to play, 1 or 2 extra rounds depending.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's best 2 out of 3. It's just at a different place.
Can I bounce off that then?
You can.
So my more unpopular opinion, based on what you just said, I think ladies for Grand Slams should play best 5 out of 7 sets.
Interesting.
Let's go.
That is unpopular.
That's the hill you want to die on?
Yeah.
Oh
Do
my
it.
god.
See you,
and
ladies.
was that?
Oh my god, dude, we'd never go home.
Slide.
You wanna call out the videos and tell them to point at the top of the screens?
Yes. I will literally clip that one and have that be on the shorts.
Let's go.
You wanna wrap it up?
Yeah. So obviously, Dill, Mark, I want to really thank you guys for making the trip out of here.
Absolutely.
If you guys do not know what these guys do, Mark Sansait.
Oh, they know me.
Mark Sansait on YouTube. Dill Plays on YouTube.
Let's go, boys.
And obviously you guys know Iron Will because you're on my channel watching the podcast. But, until we get together and reconvene somewhere else, probably not Pennsylvania, it was great having you guys here.
Yeah, we'll come to Milwaukee or something, or SoCal.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think we should do SoCal next time, see if we can connect with some other people.
Winston?
Yeah. Little Winston, we're coming for you, dude. We're coming for you.
He's got some very charismatic females on his
Yes, he does.
channel.
Yes, he does.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Peace. I might not make it to dinner for you guys.